What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to our final first playthrough build theory crafting for the Borderlands 4 Vault Hunters. This one is going to be Rafa, and to me, Rafa is probably the least interesting of all of the Vault Hunters so far. However, I am a sucker for some melee damage. So today we're going to be going and possibly dipping into the Ark Knives, the Ark Knives skill tree. So we're going to absolutely go into this, and I'm excited for this. So we're not doing any red tree in any of this apparently, but we might dip into red tree a little bit on this one if I remember if the stuff is correct. So let's go ahead and dip our toes into this. First and foremost, we have handshake deal. I mean, we're doing Ark Knives, which is automatically giving us melee damage. So we're going to increase that by 35% and increase our gun damage by 15% with handshake deal. That's a free first tier. Within the first 6 levels, we'll have an extra 15% gun damage and 35% melee damage, which is absolutely nuts. We've also got some overdrive skill. Overdrive grants increased movement speed. I think that's going to be good for us getting around the field, so we're going to go ahead and grab that as well. Dealing melee damage grants Rafa a stack of diamond hand. Gain increased gun damage for every stack of diamond hand. Once Rafa deals gun damage, the stacks begin to decay quickly until they ran out. Up to 100 stacks to up to 200% gun damage. Holy shit, that's crazy. But if we're dealing a crap ton of melee damage and it only starts decreasing once I deal gun damage, I could keep this up forever. Okay, yeah, we're gonna do that. That's 200% gun damage. I can't turn that down. A portion of maximum health capacity is converted into maximum. Oh wait. Ooh, yes, I remember this. El Corazon. So a portion of Rafa's maximum health capacity is converted into maximum shield. This just means we're basically going into a deathless Moe's build where we get more damage for the less health that we have. So we don't really want to heal a whole bunch with this one. So we're going to do 5 points here and we're going to do 5 points here. I think that's going to be crazy. Let's see. Dial in whenever Rafa deals damages an enemy with a melee attack. His melee attacks gain critical hit chance. This chance stacks and all stacks are removed whenever Rafa critically hits an enemy. So that'd be 15%. And then we also gain life steal, but we don't want that because the lower my health is, the more my bonus is. And we can get up to 45% skill damage and up to another 30% gun damage. So right now we're sitting at like 245% gun damage, which is crazy. So I don't think we're really going to do anything else with that. I think this is pretty good, and we're pretty solid. We also get all of our stuff here. So let's take a look at this. We have dead men walking. Ark Knives does not end when its duration runs out. Instead, it only ends if Rafa enters fight for your life or activates Blade Fury. While Ark Knives duration is depleted, Rafa loses health instead. Whenever Rafa damages an enemy, he gains overshield. When I gain overshield, I get movement speed. Well, we know which one we're using without a shadow of the doubt. When he health capacity, nope, we don't want that. Whenever he gains health, I deal it, which then increases my movement speed. But I've also got a crap ton of movement speed from this, and overdrive, because overdrive gives us 25% movement speed no matter what. This is an extra 25% movement speed, so we're moving 50% faster already. And then this would only give us another 10%, so we're only going to move 60%. Yeah, that's not going to be worth it. Okay, so let's go ahead and move down. We have a dash attack, leaves behind a grenade, and that's kind of meh. And plus, there's also a class mod that we can use with this that will do this skill for us, so we don't really need to worry about that. Acid drop, organized dash attack is replaced by caustic leap. Release forward creates a caustic hazard. When a mark is removed from an enemy, it explodes in Corrosive Nova. This deals a lot of corrosive stuff, and I think he's the only one that really worries about corrosive damage, but I don't really want to focus on corrosive damage, so I'm not going to worry about that. Not going to be me. Rafa deals increased corrosive damage while his action skill is active. The longer it's been active, the greater the bonus. That could be really good. That would be keeping up my action skill for a long time. Yeah, that could be pretty nuts. Gains increase. Okay, well, there you go. We're gonna increase our action skill duration. That's pretty nice. Deals bonus damage of his weapons type with all skills and ordnance while Overdrive is active, plus 12% of weapons damage. Interesting. So that's pretty cool. If there is a way that we could extend Overdrive, that would be pretty nice. Ordnance cooldown rate, not worried about that. Deals ordnance damage. He gains increased gun damage and melee damage, but I'm not dealing ordnance damage with this. That would be cool, but we're only getting an extra 6% and extra 12% per stack, so it doesn't tell us how many stacks that is. So this could be good. That could be really good. Overdrive, while Overdrive is active, may use splash damage, melee damage, honestly, I'm not really liking the rest of the skill tree, but we still have 19 points to spend. So let's try these other ones. Increased fire rate, regens ammo. That could be pretty decent. Increased reload speed. Whenever he reloads his current gun, he gains increased action skill cooldown rate, and this affects stacks up to 4% per stack, up to 100 stacks. Wow, that could be crazy. But I would have to use, so if I put 1 point, I would have to put at least 4 points there. Or if I did 1 point here, 5 points here, I could then get 5 points there. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. This seems pretty nuts. Anytime I reload a gun, I gain cooldown rate. How fast is this? 55 second? No. Cooldown is 48 seconds. Do I have cooldown rate anywhere on here right now? I have duration, but not cooldown rate. So we get to keep this up even longer. Is there anything else in here that I want? Weapon handling. That one would be pretty cool, but not right now. Extra skill cooldown rate for throwing a grenade. That would be pretty good, except I'm not worried about ordnance at all. So we got 9 more points. Increases gun damage, that's just free, so that would be pretty nice. Gains increased recharge rate and improved. Nope, we're just gonna do this. So we'll do 5 points into there. Action skill duration is improved whenever Rafa critically hits an enemy. Ain't I already critically hitting over here? I could be. So that could be pretty nice. Activates oh, interesting. Whenever Rafa activates an action skill, restores a portion of his maximum shield capacity, which I mean, I'm already using Dead Man Walking, where I'm gaining maximum shield capacity anyway. So I'm losing 10% health, 50% health. So 50% of my health is gone for 60% shield capacity. So I gain an extra 10% technically. So that could be pretty good. Plus I'm also getting bonus damage. Kill skill, killing an enemy restored shields based off of Rafa's maximum health capacity. That's not going to be good for me. This would be nice to have. Maestro would be pretty good, but I've only got 4 more points to spend, so I'm not going to be able to come down here. If I critically hit an enemy, my action skill is restored. See, this one would be good because we're getting up to 45%. If it increases by 15% every time, which I doubt that it does, but if it does, at 45% of the shields restored, and this is once I activate it. Which, I mean, that would be able to increase my survivability. Because I'm getting cooldown right here. I regenerate ammo when my overdrive is active. I don't really know if I want this. Yeah, I don't think I want this. Because realistically, like, regenerating the ammo is cool and all, but there's going to be plenty of ammo crates around. Reload speed I'm not worried about, but every time I reload my gun, I get cooldown rate. But according to this, I could get up to instantaneous action skill cooldown rate. So I'm not entirely sure if I want to go down here. We could try this out once we actually play this, but that'll be very interesting to find out. But if I were to do this, what I would do instead, since we have 11 points to spare, I would probably do this. Will give me action skill duration back. This also gives me increased skill damage. So if I do... let's just say I do 2 points there. I would get 15% action skill duration brought back. On top of this, which gives me 35%. On top of critically hitting an enemy. And then I can get 3 points here to get more damage, which is an extra 18% skill damage, which I think I'm also getting skill damage here, which is a free 40%. So that's 40% plus 18%. That's 58% increased skill damage. Ooh, this one could also be good. This freezes Overdrive's duration, which means I have 10% increased damage at all times, plus 25% movement speed for 12 seconds, and it freezes it for 2 seconds every time I kill an enemy. I think I would take the points out of this, because I could probably hit the headshots pretty easy with this. And I think we go with this. I think that might be the build. We don't get any capstones with this, but realistically, if I remember correctly, I don't like any of these I don't like any of these capstones for this tree specifically. I really only like Dead Man Walking. I think this might be the build. I kind of like the idea of reloading and getting a cooldown rate The only thing is I would essentially have to bam, like I would have to have one shot build and just boom, reload, boom, reload, boom, reload, but they only last for 8 seconds. So I don't think that's going to benefit me that much. So realistically, I don't think that's going to work. This gives me my duration back. Everything else on here I really don't need. Yeah, I think this might be the build. So we do dip a little bit into the red tree for this, which is nice. So we could technically play both Peacebreaker Cannon and Ark Knives in this build, because we get all of our, we get all of these, and we also get yeah, we get all of our augments. So we could technically play both of these builds without capstones, but I want to focus primarily on this. Yeah, I like this build. I think this is going to be awesome. I think the Ark Knife Peacebreaker build is going to be pretty good on Rafa. I do not like any of the capstones here that we have. Like Galvanic Panic performs a melee attack while Ark Knives is active. Firing the Acid Strim Glider. I think this is the only one that I've really liked the idea of. I don't like the idea of Inferno Protocol because it restores all, it stores all damage dealt to him, and then the exosuit heats up and constantly does a small amount of fire damage to him. So I have to lose health that I already barely freaking have, and then like using a portion of all damage dealt to Rafa is also dealt to the enemy that he has marked. So I get to spread damage out a little bit, but then using Blade Fury causes Rafa to consume all stored damage and deals fire bonus damage based on the stored damage. A portion of all damage dealt this way is returned to Rafa's health. So I will technically get my health back, but I'm draining 6 health per second, which I barely have any to begin with. So I don't think that's going to help. I don't have any lifesteal with this build. So if I were to go down this tree, then this tree would make sense, but realistically, I wouldn't do that. Huracan Especial, activating Blade Fury causes Rafa to spin his blades, creating a singularity that draws in all marked enemies and other nearby enemies while dealing continuous shock damage. When this attack kills an enemy, Overdrive grants increased action skill cooldown. Okay, that one wouldn't be too bad. That one would not be too bad at all, because that's going to increase the amount of people that I'm hitting. But I think this build in general is going to be pretty solid. I think this is going to be pretty sick. So we're going to test this out once we get to Rafa. This will be the first like skill that we test out. So yeah, I think that's going to be it. If you guys enjoyed this video of me theory crafting this Rafa build, let me know if you guys use it. Comment down below, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if there's anything that you guys would change about this, because I'm very curious what you guys think. And yeah, go ahead, like the video, subscribe if you're new and want some more Borderlands 4 content. But more importantly and above all else, I hope you guys have yourselves a good day, a good night, and a good week, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye bye now.